The January 20th, 2026 meeting of the Bay City City Commission will come to order. The city clerk will give the invocation, which will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Kubit.
Here.
Coakley.
Here.
Doyle.
Here.
Tenney.
Here.
Sinati.
Here.
DeWitt.
Here.
Runberg.
Here.
Charlebois.
Here.
And Morris.
Here.
And Mayor Gerard.
Present, we have a quorum. First order of business, we do not have any presentations, so we're into the adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda? Commissioner Morris.
Move to adopt the agenda.
Is there a second? Commissioner Kubit.
Second.
Do any members of the commission wish to add any agenda item? Okay. Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the agenda?
Commissioner Coakley.
Yes.
Doyle.
Yes.
Tenney.
Yes.
Sinati.
Yes.
DeWitt.
Yes.
Runberg.
Yes.
Charlebois.
Yes.
Morris.
Yes.
And Kubit.
Yes.
9 yes.
All right, agenda for this evening's been adopted. Next order of business is the consent agenda. Do any members of the commission wish to make a change to the consent agenda? Commissioner Tenney.
Yes, I'd like to pull number 8 if I could, please. It's the one for the parks rules and regulations.
Thank you very much. Any other items to be removed? Okay. Next order of business calls for public input on the consent agenda. This is the opportunity for citizens to remove an item from the consent for consideration on the regular agenda. If anyone in the audience wishes to make a change, please come to the microphone, print your name on the registration sheet, state your name and address for the record, and the item you wish to have considered on the regular agenda. All right, seeing no one come forward, is there a motion on the consent agenda? Commissioner Tenney.
Move to approve the consent agenda as amended.
Okay, we didn't amend anything, but is there a second? Commissioner Runberg.
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the consent agenda?
Commissioner Tenney.
Yes.
Sinati.
Yes.
DeWitt.
Yes.
Runberg.
Yes.
Charlebois.
Yes.
Morris.
Yes.
Kubit.
Yes.
Coakley.
Yes.
And Doyle.
Yes.
9 yes.
All right, thank you. The recommendations as listed on the consent agenda have been approved. All right, next order of business calls for public input. Under the rules of the City Commission, each speaker will be allowed 5 minutes to speak. Commissioner Coakley will serve as the timekeeper. This is the opportunity for citizens to address the commission regarding any agenda item or any other matter. If anyone wishes to address the commission, please come forward, print your name on the registration sheet, and state your name and address for the record. We do ask that you be respectful in addressing the mayor and commission. Public input is a one-way communication, and the mayor and commissioners cannot answer any questions at this time. Please meet with them after the meeting if you need further information.
Jeff Reed, 409 Fillmore. Everything I say up here is my opinion and my thoughts. The reason I came here tonight is it's my understanding we're going to be looking for a new city manager soon. And I thought part of the process might be a good idea to have them read this. This is the contract with the Bay City Bridge Partners. I think it'd be a good idea to have the new manager read this, and if they can understand it the best they can, And then just simply ask them the question, do you think this is a good idea? Would you suggest recommendation approve or recommendation hell no? But whoever we decide to be our new city manager, they have to be aware of this issue because it's very important to the city. And the boycott that's been taking place, everybody's well aware of it. It's going super great. You know, everybody's doing what they can to try to avoid these bridges. Clearly, the Bay City Bridge Partners are not here to bring us together. They're here to price us apart. And they're doing a pretty good job of that right now. One of the other things is that if you don't want to send the Bay City Bridge Partners grandchildren to college, then stop giving them your money. Just don't pay them. Remove your transponder, close your account, just pretend they don't exist, because that's what they're doing to us as a community. We have heard nothing from this organization. They're pretending as if we don't even exist. That's all I got. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else like to come forward for public input? Okay, next order of business are the remarks of the mayor and commission. Come on up. Yep.
Hello, my name's Valerie Blakely. I'm with the People's Water Board Coalition. I know that you're going to be voting tonight.
Just put your, what's your address, please?
327 Woodland Street, Detroit, Michigan, 48202.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll put it in here. I know you're going to be voting on it tonight. I just wanted to thank you for taking the time and all the effort, kind of looking through the bills and considering it. We really appreciate it. And people all over Michigan are really looking forward to this legislation being passed. It really is going to reduce harm and save lives, and we really appreciate you. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, now the next order of business remarks of the mayor and commission. Do commissioners have some remarks? Commissioner Kubit.
I wanted to make sure we're doing whatever we need to do to get the ball rolling regarding our search for the new city manager. So it's my understanding that we need to put out a request for an RFP in order to hire somebody to help us with that search. And now would be an appropriate time to make that request. So if appropriate, I would like to, on behalf of the commission, make that request to put out the RFP if there's no objection.
Yep, that's it. Are there any objections? Oh, Commissioner Zai, or question or objection?
Not really an objection, but I would think before we put that out, we should meet as a body and discuss what we're going to put in the RFP. Have we discussed that we might want to open the job up to city employees, department heads we have right now? Usually in that process, that would be what you would do first. Because if you just let them put in, when you get this other group, a lot of people won't apply for it because they think the inside guy has an advantage. I just think we need a discussion before we just do a RFP. I think we need to discuss the process and the timing so we know how to properly write it up.
I think the city manager had some comments because it's not necessarily about applications, so.
I do. So I have been through two different, one and then possibly another search that we have done here that we did put an RFP out. So we do have a scope of services done for both of those. When we had one back in 2013, we ended up, interviewing, 4 or 5 companies that put in. And then they had done another RFP in 2017 when I became manager. They did the scope, they did the advertisement, and then they pulled it before it even came to commission. So I do have 2 different scopes that I could share with everybody, and if you see something different that you want added to it, I suggest when I do put it out, maybe do a 2 to 3 week turnaround if you want to make it go a little faster. Working with these companies, they already have their spiel ready to go. They're just going to do some research on Bay City and add that into their proposal. So it's just up to you guys. If you want me to send you all the scope that we've had in the past and start from there.
So yes, so good. Were you all set? I know some people want to jump in and have a question.
For now, I am, yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Cubit, you had a,
I guess there's a lot that I need to learn about this process, but the whole point of basically hiring, we're doing the RFP to basically pick somebody to hire to kind of help us through this whole process. So part of the whole process, I think, to Mr. Zanotti's comment, is to figure out like who we're looking for. So there's sort of like an information gathering once we decide on who we're hiring. They need to learn about us, about what's important to us, like what's going to be in the job posting, let alone before they even like write the job posting and post the job posting. We're just trying to first put it out there and say, and I think 2 weeks or 3 weeks is an appropriate amount of time because we really just need to get this ball rolling. So yes, I guess to be clear, I'm making the request to just put the RFP out. I think probably 2 weeks, because if somebody who's in the business of doing this sort of thing, they could probably put it together in 2 weeks so we can get things moving.
thank you. Yeah, Commissioner Coakley's next, but they're already been submitting those kind of requests to the city, so yeah, it's pretty standard practice. Commissioner Coakley.
Who's been submitting? I'm sorry.
I don't have any requests. We can't go out, just so everybody knows, commission cannot go out and solicit bids, so they have to be done through our purchasing.
Yeah, I agree. They're just sending them randomly to me, so.
My question is simple. Do we vote on it right now, or just do we direct you to
Just
do
the
it?
direction is fine. You
Is
don't
there a
need to
vote
do
on
resolution.
this, or are we just, you're good to go and we're moving forward?
I guess see if there's other opinions and then go forward with that.
Sorry, I missed Commissioner Chalvois.
What is a RFP? What is that?
A request for proposal, basically we're asking companies that help municipalities with searches to give us a proposal, like, hey, we can do X, Y, and Z for you, and it would cost you this much.
It's a headhunter. A headhunter?
Yeah,
Oh,
a specialized
that I
one,
understand.
yeah.
We're going to get a headhunter.
Yeah.
Idea. One other thing, can we use the number 2 person in case we run over and our present city manager's gone? And we don't want to end up without a city manager while we're choosing one, do we?
So I think that's, the city manager's given a 2-month window. I think there may be opportunity for some discussions on that extension if she's willing, and the commission elects to do so and offer some kind of a separate contract, but we'd have to have that discussion down the road. I don't know if you have any other comments.
Not too much further down the road because it's going to come up quick. And I do know that I believe the school board had to get a new head person. They ran into weeks. It was weeks and weeks, and it can be difficult and take time.
It potentially is going to take up to 4 months to find somebody, and then if they have to give note, it could be even longer, but
That's why I ask about the number 2 person who's number 2 now, if they can be interim.
I think there are options that the commission could discuss, and that could be one of those options. Another option is there is a list of other city managers that offer their services that could be contracted, or we have the discussion with our current city manager to see if there's interest to extend. So those are kind of the options. Commissioner Coakley?
Yeah, I guess there's, we just would be educated a little bit more on what's going on. First and foremost, the current city manager does want to negotiate an extension to help us get through things like the budget and so forth. We'll have to look at that. Secondly, the pool is from retired city managers that come around or current city managers?
Well, there's a list of city managers that former, I'm going to guess some of them are former city managers that offer their service on a contractual basis.
So city managers have an interim list that is at MML. And so they will do their services, they'll come out. My only thing about that is when you get somebody on this list, they're not familiar with Bay City. That's my only
concern.
downfall about that. When you bring them in, you're going to be spending a couple months just bringing them up to par and knowing how our departments run, what our budget is, and so forth. And I'm not saying that they can't do that, because usually these are retired managers in our state. So they're well vetted, but you're going to run into that if you bring in somebody that's just not familiar with us.
I just think we should come up with something to sort of educate the public and everything else on the process, so they're aware of it, and we can be transparent on that, you know, what can happen, what could happen, what's gonna happen, and trying to find the best fit for the city, because we have a lot of things coming up, but we just gotta get through that before we do find somebody. I don't wanna be rushed into hiring.
And it is in the middle of budget session during that time, and they're working, they started those budgets, correct? And so they are working on them now, but that's kind of in the middle of the process. Commissioner Zanai?
I have one suggestion and another comment. Maybe the president of the commission could work with the city manager and bring us something back at our next meeting, and kind of a format agenda on how the process might go. And then the second thing is, and I made this comment before, I really think we're doing an injustice if we don't, on a short term, we could start tomorrow, open this up to current city employees. We have some very good department heads. I don't know if they're interested or not. I don't have anybody in mind. But going back historically, I can think of 3 city managers that came from within that did a pretty good job for the city of Bay City. I don't know that I can say that for the guys we hired on the outside, okay?
Thank you.
If you want me to have a discussion with my department heads, just so we can move it along, I'd be happy to do that. But with saying that, they would still have an opportunity to apply when we put it out. I know what you're saying, though. Yep, I understand. No, I understand.
All right, Commissioner Kubit.
Yeah, just on this discussion about what we need to do, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of things to do, and because of the Open Meetings Act, you know, it's hard to like figure that out outside of this chamber. So, you know, of course, figuring out the smooth transition, I care very much about mitigating any negative impact on our residents throughout this transition. And it's, you know, 2 months is a very short period of time. Personally, I think it makes sense that, you know, if I want to go through all the options, but it seems like it would be both cost-effective and have the least negative impact for our citizens and also our other employees to like just go from you to whoever the new person is. So if there's a way to do that, if you're willing to do that, if it's a cost-effective thing for us to do, that seems to make sense to me. But how we're supposed to have the conversations about like, is that something you're willing to do? What would those negotiations look like? How do we have those negotiations? What are the other options? Would the, you know, I don't know, like, I don't know how to do all of this.
And I mean, I can lay out like a timeline for you, just so you know like what the steps are. I would be willing to give you a proposal, a contract proposal from myself, and then we can go from there. I think it's probably best if we start with me submitting something to you, and if you want to talk about that, obviously on the floor, we can do that too.
That seems reasonable, thank you.
Perfect. Commissioner Coakley.
Do we just move forward with you putting that together, or is that something we have to discuss?
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay, I'd like to see it also.
Commissioner Morris.
Can this be done simultaneously with putting out an RFP or giving direction to putting out an RFP tonight?
No, it can be done at the same time.
Great. I would like to, I'm on board with Commissioner Kubit with putting out for an RFP or putting out an RFP.
Sure, and we're going to get proposals. It's not a low bid situation. It's, we evaluate the criteria because we just, obviously, in my opinion, this position, the city manager position, is probably the most important thing that this commission body will do in your time here is to select that leadership. We do want to get it right, as Commissioner Zanotti has mentioned, and so thank you for the input. Any other input? Commissioner DeWitt.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I know I'm not, haven't spoken much about this recently, but I know that we do want to do as little as possible to disrupt the day-to-day operations of the city. So I'm all for the RFP and getting our continuing coverage set, because I also do not want to have an issue where we have someone in here for what could be 6 weeks, could be 4 months, and then all of a sudden we have to start all over again. Because let's face it, us 10 technically are not that experienced in running a city because we are part-time commissioners. We are reliant on the city staff. And I just don't want to see us having to essentially skip like an old record and start over again and have to go through the same learning pangs multiple times. I do want to bring up something that I saw that's going to be going along with the budget timeline. The electric company put out a notice they're going to do a survey over sometime this year. Is that related to a rate study update because the other one's getting old, or is that a separate project?
It's a separate project.
Okay. I saw that and I'm like, oh, I know that we're close to needing one of those. So, okay. That answers that question too. Thank you.
Any other commissioner comments? Okay, I had a couple things. I do want to appreciate the Good Samaritan Rescue Mission for their work, and they finally are open, and they've had several unhoused folks that have been taking advantage. And with the extreme cold weather, I'm very happy that they were able to open. Also want to acknowledge the Dream Center. I know we're acknowledging tonight they're applying for United Way funds, and so I know they'll be under consideration to help support the that request. And also Wiccan Emporium Studio and Company, all their work for the unhoused in our community. We want to thank them and the team there. Also, want to mention, now that we're addressed, getting people into some kind of shelter, right? How do we work on transitional housing? And it might not be this body, but to have that conversation in supportive housing. So just to kind of have those conversations on what the needs are to help people get from unhoused situations, now moving into more stable housing situations. I think that's an important conversation that we can be having. So any other business? Okay, City Manager, do you have any other comments?
No, I do not. I was going to talk about the RFP and so forth. So nope, all set.
All right, thank you. We do have a public hearing. This is the opportunity for the citizens to address the commission regarding public hearings 1 and 2. One is an application from SC Ventures Bay City LLC for the creation of an obsolete property rehabilitation district located at 500 Salzburg Avenue. And number 2 is a dangerous building at 404 South Elm Street. Under the rules of the commission, each speaker will be allowed 5 minutes to speak. Commissioner Coakley will serve as a timekeeper. Is there a motion to allow for public hearings? Yes, Commissioner DeWitt.
Move to allow for public hearing, public input on public hearings 1 and 2.
All right, is there a second? Commissioner Zanotti. Second? Okay, just say it for the record. That's all right. All right, if anyone wishes to address the commission regarding public hearing item number 1, please come forward, sign the registration sheet, and state your name and address for the record. Again, this is a public hearing on SC Ventures Bay City LLC. Okay, seeing no one come forward, is anyone wishes to address the commission regarding public hearing item number 2, which is the dangerous building at 404 South Elm Street? All right, I don't see anybody, so we move on to special orders. Will the clerk please read the next item on the agenda?
Special order, item 1, Commission as a whole resolution regarding application from SC Ventures Bay City LLC for the creation of an obsolete property rehabilitation district located at 500 Salzburg Avenue.
All right, is there a motion? Commissioner Tenney.
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Commissioner DeWitt?
Second.
Discussion. All right, will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Commissioner Doyle?
Yes.
Tenney?
Yes.
Zanati?
Yes?
DeWitt?
Yes.
Runberg?
Yes.
Charlebois?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Cubit?
Yes.
Coakley?
Yes.
9 yes.
All right, motion's been approved. Will the clerk please read the next item on the agenda?
Special order item 2, commission as a whole resolution to approve the order of the dangerous building hearing officer regarding 404 South Elp Street.
Is there a motion? Commissioner DeWitt?
Move to approve?
Is there a second? Commissioner Doyle?
Second.
Any discussion? All right, will the clerk please call the roll and motion to approve?
Commissioner Zanati?
Yes?
DeWitt?
Yes.
Runberg?
Yes.
Charlebois?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Cubit?
Yes.
Coakley?
Yes.
Doyle?
Yes.
Tenney?
Yes.
9 yes.
All right, motion's been approved. Next order of business are items on the regular agenda. Will the clerk please read the next item of business?
From consent, item 8, city manager recommending approval of the updates to the parks rules and regulations.
Is there a motion? Commissioner Tenney?
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Commissioner Runberg?
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Tenney?
Thank you to the chair. I feel like I probably already made my points the last time this came around, but adding Battery Park feels like we are doing something that's tantamount to vagrancy laws. So that's all I have to say about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Coakley?
Yeah, I've received multiple call-outs during the summer pertaining to this with just businesses down there and people going to the library with the fights, the drunk and disorderly and everything else. I don't think this is going up against any certain person or group of people. It's basically 22 times in 6 months is quite a few times to have the police show up to a place for fights, drunk and disorderly, and just obnoxious behavior. Pretty much, I'm voting yes on this, just for the safety of the citizens. And like I said, it's not against one group of people. Anybody that's down there, any person that's down there drinking and just doing things to the people around it, I'm going to try to do the best to protect them.
Any other? Commissioner Charlebois?
Are there some parks that allow drinking alcohol and some that don't?
Yeah, city manager.
There is, because there's special events that are in some of the parks.
Okay, so this one is taking away, you can't drink in this park, but we can drink in other parks?
It's just not that park. There's other parks that you can't drink alcohol in as well. It's
But
just not
this is changing the law to say that you can't drink in this park.
correct. And we're asking for that just because of the problems that we have in Battery Park.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner DeWitt, did you have something?
Mine was about the special event thing too, just to clarify that, so I'm all set.
Any other, Commissioner Runberg?
Thank you. I know that there was in the packet pointing out, was it sections F and G? Were those stricken from the amended version?
I have Craig come up because he worked with the attorney on these.
So F and G was not stricken from this. His recommendation was to strike F and G and replace it with F, which is what it was attached in this. And that language changed based on his opinion that the old language was not constitutional. His suggested language was based on there's a couple other court cases that apparently, I'm not a lawyer, so, but apparently based off of other court cases, this is the language he chose. But he did make a point to say that if commission as a whole feels that the city ordinance already covers that. You guys are welcome to strike it completely, but that was his suggested language.
All right, thank you. I see it here now. It's, so it was revised all under F, just for the record, it says, be under the influence of intoxication or any illegal drugs or engage in any violent, abusive, loud, boisterous, vulgar, lewd, wanton, obscene, or otherwise disorderly conduct which creates a breach of the peace or to unreasonably disturb or annoy others. I guess my only real concern with that still is, and I understand we're going to have a hard time covering all of our bases with whatever language we choose to put in there in the plain text, but a lot of it's up to interpretation. And I'm a little hesitant to use, to prohibit potentially First Amendment considerations. I understand the substance concerns, and I also do agree with my colleague in the Fourth Ward regarding vagrancy laws or poor laws, things to that effect. I guess I kind of, to my colleagues, is there a better way to address what might be considered a broad interpretation of what unreasonable behavior might be considered that's not already accounted for in our current ordinance or state law?
I have a question for the discussion.
Yep, go ahead, Commissioner Kubit.
And maybe it's, you know, from our director might have some input here too, but when it comes to what tools we need to address actual issues, you know, that's what we're trying to do in problem solving. So we're all kind of in it together. We're trying to problem solve the issue. And I understand there were like 22 calls to law enforcement for, you know, situations that needed to be resolved or de-escalated, and how to sort of deal with those issues in a, you know, a good and reasonable way. You know, for example, if somebody is causing problems and they happen to be holding a bottle of vodka, and, you know, we have a list of parks where you know, can't drink alcohol at all, and Battery Park just wasn't on either list, either the yes sometimes or no never. Like, I think it makes sense to classify it, so we're doing that here, which I'm all in support of. So if law enforcement gets called out because there's some situation and the person who's allegedly causing the situation is holding a bottle of vodka, but they're not like screaming at anybody anymore, well, the officer doesn't witness the screaming because it stopped, but if they're still holding the bottle of vodka, the officer can at least say, I see you're holding a bottle of vodka, you either need to pour it out or you need to like go somewhere else, which then de-escalates the situation and doesn't disturb anybody else that they were sitting with. So I think that makes sense to me as a useful tool. So keeping that part in there. As far as the section F, that apparently our city attorney said, even if we strike section F, we do still have our disorderly ordinance. I guess I would want to verify that with our director if that is accurate. I want our law enforcement to have the tools that they need. I want language to be as simple as possible. I want it to match as much as possible, and I don't want to have it a chilling effect. I still don't like the words in here that say loud and boisterous, because in part we want kids to be in parks and kids can be loud and boisterous, and how many people use the word boisterous? I think it's a terrible word. But in any case, I don't think many people are actually going to read about it, so I guess my biggest concern is having law enforcement being able to have tools to deal with situations as they arise. So we're talking about section F right now, which it's my understanding that this, I think, mimics the language of our disorderly conduct ordinance. Can you speak to that? Do you know if it does or not?
Our disorderly conduct ordinance combines a lot of things into it, where this one's kind of separates them. This one says you can't be under the influence of drugs or illegal drugs or intoxicants, where disorderly doesn't say that. So, I mean, it's a little bit more tools. And, you know, from my perspective, I don't like the, you know, some of the language is open to interpretation for sure, but I'm comfortable with my officers using discretion in this. We've had park rules for a lot of years, and I could count maybe 5 times where somebody's actually received a citation for violating them. Most of the time, if they're violating a park rule, it gives us grounds just to get them to leave, so they're not causing a problem anymore. So This just is, it's just another tool that we have in the toolbox to help solve problems there. I don't really see it getting enforced all that much unless somebody refuses to comply.
And to be clear, the goal of your officers is not to shoo everybody out of the park. If there is a problem, you're trying to deal with the specific problem. So if there's one particular person causing that problem, that's what you're focused on, correct?
Correct, yeah. Anybody sitting in the park just hanging out, you know, we're not going to bother them. It's just if they're causing an issue where somebody else has to call 911 because they're doing something that's against the rules, then we would get involved.
Okay, thank you. And also to be clear, your officers would not use this ordinance to kick out a child who is being loud or boisterous in a Bay City park, correct?
No.
I wish these words were not in here, but I don't want to hold this up further.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Shawwal.
I just wanted to say, I don't think it's fair if you have drinking in one park and not the other. And if there's people acting up, you know, well, arrest them, ticket them, but don't ruin it for everybody. I never like to do that sort of thing. I don't want to do it here. What's fair is fair. Either you have no drinking in the parks or you have drinking in all the parks. If there's some yahoos acting up, arrest them, ticket them. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner DeWitt.
I'm going to direct my questions to the staff. Was there discussion when these were being made about other parks?
As far as alcohol in the parks?
Yeah, it's because we're adding it to the list with the special events. Was there a conversation about other parks?
The only park that it was just because they asked me about, because of all the calls they've gotten with Battery Park was the only reason we discussed that park.
Do we believe that we could possibly see an issue where this would just move them to Maplewood or Hewitt instead? Do we think that's a possibility, or do we think this was going to disperse them enough to de-escalate?
That's always a possibility. You know, my own personal opinion, I don't want to outlaw something if it's not a problem. You know what I mean? The reason some of the parks are listed is because they've had issues there. The people that live around it or work around it call us to resolve issues. That's the only reason those parks are, in particular, are listed.
And, sorry, did we get any calls about, well, the closest one to that, Winona and Bernie, did we get any calls about those parks last year? Or, I mean, I'm going to guess probably one or two, but not necessarily the same amount, right?
I mean, Winona Park is a very high traffic park. So we're down there quite a bit, but we don't really get too many calls in particular. The only thing is, you know, at night after hours, some of the tenants that live close by will call because there's people being noisy down there, but that's about it. In Bernie Park, our biggest issue is I guess, people hanging out there and leaving like drug paraphernalia behind. That's been our biggest complaint in that particular park, but not to the level of Battery Park, which is really not, I mean, it's, to call it a park, I guess it's a park because we have a ton of parks in the city, but I mean, it's a few benches and a memorial. It's not really, there's no playground or.
Yeah, it's a statue park, yeah. Okay, that kind of answers my questions on that one. Thank you.
Commissioner Coakley.
22 times at Battery Park. Anybody else more than that, the same, or is that by far the most?
That's by far the most, as long as you're not counting like, you know, the fireworks in Vets Park. It's
the day in and day out.
But day-to-day operations, getting called, that's by far the most.
Yep. And Battery Park has a very small footprint. I mean, there's no ball fields, there's no horseshoe pits, it's basically a few, like we said, a few benches and anything else. So we can't put all the parks in the same classification. You know, the other parks you can sit down, have a picnic or multiple people and so forth, and we just need to be careful of that stuff also. But if this is going to, and just to be clear, if anybody's down there drinking and being disorderly, no matter whether they're unhoused or just a citizen, if you're going to address that, you're just not targeting certain people because anybody down there drunk and disorderly, you're going to ask to leave.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Tenney?
Thank you to the chair. You know, I guess for me, I live right by Rexford Jablonski Park, okay? If I suspect that the number 22 that some of my colleagues are hung up on are coming from a handful of people that live nearby, right, or have businesses nearby. If I were to just sit on a park bench at my neighborhood park, I can guarantee you I could call you guys more than 22 times, right? If I like wanted to be best friends with the 911 dispatcher or just, wanted to report everybody who did something I thought was a pain in my neck, right? Instead, what I would do is I would speak to people and be a neighbor, and if they did something out of pocket, I would try to ask them to do better. That's just me personally, but on that note, can we call the question, please?
All right, is there any objection to calling the question? All right, let's, will the clerk call the roll on the motion to adopt?
Commissioner DeWitt,
No.
Runberg,
No.
Charlebois,
No.
Morris,
Yes.
Cubitt,
Yes.
Coakley,
Yes.
Doyle,
Yes.
Tenney,
No.
Sonati.
Yes.
5 yes, 4 no.
Motion's been adopted. Will the clerk please read the next item on the agenda?
Commissioner Runberg's resolution supporting the statewide water affordability bill package, Senate Bills 248 through 256.
Is there a motion? Commissioner Rundberg.
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Commissioner Tenney.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Rundberg.
Yes, I want to thank City Manager for working with the City Attorney and staff to see what the impact would be to our community should these Senate bills move forward and be adopted. When doing the research that was given to us, I guess what I'm saying is how many cities or municipalities, just ballpark, are there other municipalities that also do combined retail service for the utilities, is that correct?
There is, but very small amount. We're kind of unique in that sense. Usually they have them separate. But there is a number in Michigan that do combined billing.
Okay, so we're just an outlier, but not
Right,
a unicorn.
Right, not a unicorn.
And did we have an idea of what the additional administrative burden would look like? I know there was one potential position that would have to be hired.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff would have to be done by hand. We kind of went through like what the duties would be. And so what we decided, it's gonna have significant workload to administer, and some of the language was unclear about local providers. So we'd have to get that cleared up. But we would have to have somebody administering this program. So getting pen to paper we would need another position in UCS to administer all the provisions, and with benefits, that's gonna be about $90,000.
Okay, and do we know offhand what the reconnect fee currently is for someone who gets their water shut off?
Oh boy, is it a percentage, George? No, 150? Oh, 50? Looking at Adam too. Does that sound? Oh, it's a little bit more, isn't it? Yeah. So how about I say 50 to 100?
Okay, yeah, because the understanding the burden that this might put on the city, and it just seems like based on the memo that was given to the commission, there's a lot of unknown, that's an unknown amount on how much it could impact us, and obviously could be different year to year. What current solutions or, I guess, options are out there for people who are struggling with their utility bill, keeping it, especially getting it reconnected? Because I know, speaking from my own experience, when I was facing housing insecurity, if my utility was shut off, that was just an additional burden on top of the back pay I have to give to it. And I'm trying to find workable solutions for people who do exist underneath that federal poverty level.
So, and I can forward this to all commissioners, and I think Commissioner Cubitt has a part in this too that you can suggest, but we have a long list of agencies that work with the city closely, and it could be churches, United Way, in other nonprofits in our community. There's also DHS, which we work with very closely, and they seem to work for everybody to get through these agencies. I know some of them run out throughout the year, but then they get replenished. So we do have that, and I know Commissioner Cubitt, if you could let her speak just one moment, there is another program that's out there.
Yep, Commissioner Cubitt.
Yeah, if it's okay to share the resources. So anyone can call 211, just like 911, to find out local resources. That's one easy way. And if they're specifically needing help regarding a water bill, they can say that. Or if a utility bill, they can say that. Another good partner is we have the United Way of Bay County. If you go to their website and you go to the Get Help section and you search for water, the two programs that are active for Bay County residents come up. One is the State Emergency Relief through the Department of Health and Human Services, DHHS. You can apply online. It does cover water bills. They do have this complex formula to figure out how much the state is going to pay, and there is usually some kind of like co-payment part, and that sometimes can be a hurdle for people. But, you know, it's still good to apply for all the assistance. The second kind of assistance, which is actually, I think, a better pot of money and easier to get, is temporary, and that's called the Water Assistance Program. So some people were familiar with like the eviction diversion program during COVID. They were kind of special pots of money. This particular pot of money goes through September of 2027, but when the money runs out, the money runs out. So it's my understanding that this was allocated to different agencies, just like that those kind of COVID eviction monies were allocated to agencies. So our local agency is Mid-Michigan Community Action Agency. And so on the DHH website, which I just pulled up, it's on water assistance, you can actually see how much money was allocated for Bay County, and there appears to still be money left. It looks like 46 households in Bay County have utilized those funds, and it is for people, it's even better than 200% of the poverty line. It's 60% area median income, which I think for a single person is like $36,000 a year. So that's actually pretty generous. I think the asset limit is also pretty generous, and so it's a good resource. So by going to using our local community partners, United Way, so United Way doesn't give the money, but it's easy to find that information on the website. But Mid-Michigan Community Action Agency, they have an office here. Anybody can call, say I need help with my water bill, and they can, I think it's up to $3,000 that a person can get in a year until this fund runs out. So having resources like this fund is really important, and I think having conversations with Department of Health and Human Service about, hey, what did we learn about administering this temporary fund of money, and how could we apply that to a statewide program that's permanent? I think that's incredibly useful data, because we learned so much by doing this, and learning, taking back what we've learned from the research that our city staff just did on how could we make it work for these outlier communities like Bay City in finding this complex statewide solution. So I think we've invested some time in figuring out the long-term solution, and I think that Bay City is willing to be a partner in that. I think there are still some unanswered questions, but to answer your question, there are state emergency relief through Department of Health and Human Services. You can apply online or in person. And then water assistance program, which those funds go through September 27 or until they run out, and that's through Mid-Michigan Community Action Agency, up to $3,000.
All right, thank you. Great information to share. Appreciate that. Were you finishing up?
Yeah, I can go on to others.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay. Any other? Commissioner Coakley?
Yeah, just a couple of questions. I mean, reading through this, I see the words increase rates, which always concerns me as a citizen and somebody who pays bills. With that being said, if this passes, do you have some numbers? I mean, I seen you sent the memo, and you mentioned $2.3 million. Could you explain that a little more in detail?
Yeah, I think first let's talk about the increase. So reading what we have in front of us, there would be initial annual funding of $1.25 per month added to a metered account. So that would be an increase to our residents. And then it increases by 25 cents if it gets passed that way, because obviously we know it can change, to a maximum of $3 per month per meter. So there would be an increase on that side. But also what the finance director had stated when I put that in the memo. So we bill out about $68 million for sanitation, electric, sewer, and water. If we do this 120 delay, we could possibly, it would prolong us getting $2.3 million, which we would invest that at the time. So we probably wouldn't be able to invest that money. So that's the $2.3 million. So yeah, we would have a loss of those funds. If 2.3 million and do the interest rate, it would be $92,000 in interest that we would lose as well.
Then also you mentioned hiring somebody to oversee this.
We would have to hire a whole new position, yes, in use.
So that would be another additional cost on top of this.
Approximately 90,000.
And that would come right out of the budget, right? So you're saying the 2.3 million is monies that we would not be able to use anymore or count on? And
Yeah, because it would be a delay when we would be delaying the collection of those funds. So they wouldn't be able to be invested to get interest off of that.
all right, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Kubit? Or Commissioner Zanatti and then Kubit.
This is, I guess, potentially separate, but if somebody has a deficiency on their water bill, would it be an easy lift if we include a little like flyer that includes information for local resources that exist?
They get it already.
Oh, they do?
They do, yes. It's also in our utility bills that we send out, but they do get it already. And when they call in too, if people call in to get on a payment plan or whatever, they actually go through that list with them. Like, we know that there's money available at this church right now because they have their thumb on where the money is in the community. So they'll send them to where the money is.
All set, Commissioner? Commissioner Zanatti.
Just a couple comments. I think as most of you know, I sat on the Board of Review for several years before I got elevated or demoted. I'm not sure which. Over the past few years, through the Board of Review, the approval process for poverty exemptions goes through there, okay? The number of the poverty exemptions in our community is, I don't know that anybody chartered it, but definitely I have to sign, not me, the whole board has to sign each one, and we're there for a long time. That, along with when we sit there listening to the residents that come in about the taxes, you get the basic person that taxes are too much even if it was 50 cents a year, but not many of those. Most of the people we get are people that are hurting, okay? They talk about utility bills. I have a hard time, as much as the initiative of this idea for water I support, I have a hard time raising water bills. We're talking up to $3 a month. That's $36 a year. I'm telling you, when I listen to these people, that's how close their budgets are, okay? And on top of that, you would have the administrative cost. Now, one last thing, and I never was successful in this in the past, but several years ago, I went to a meeting in Lansing on how to properly do a school budget, okay? And the one thing that they were recommending is in the school budget, we should have some kind of, and forgive me if I'm not using the correct words, but basically a welfare account, okay? Little kids come to school, they don't have jackets, whatever. I'm sure public safety runs into that where, somewhere to get $10 or $20 or $30. And I'm thinking rather than increase water bills, could we ever develop an account like that that would basically stay in Bay City, cover just the Bay City residents, wouldn't have an administrative cost to it? It's something you could talk about in the budget process. But anyways, I just want people to understand I won't be supporting that, but it's not that I'm against the initiative. I'm against what it's going to do to water rates and a lot of the people that are out there. It's easy to say $3 a month won't hurt me, but I'm telling you, if you sit in that Board of Review and listen to some of those people, we have a lot of people just making it in this town. And they're paying their water bill on time, but they're just making it. And I think we got to be caring about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner DeWitt.
As mentioned with the 2.3 million loss of possible investment, do we have a dollar amount of the current back owe for water bills? So like how much we currently have for a delinquent number?
I think we have that number. That would have been something I would have had to get before this meeting. But I can tell you, I mean, the only stat I have is how many shuts we've done in the past 2 years. So I don't know if that would help you.
I was just looking for comparative. No, I did not think about this before. That 2.3 million came up during discussion today because I would have asked for that. So I'm just curious what the.
I don't have the dollar amount, but it's like 10% of our monthly bills are delinquent.
Okay, so going to ask, and this is a hypothetical, if everything happens as this would be written out, that 2.3 million of lost funds for covering this with a $3 charge, would we believe there would be a increase in the amount of delinquencies that would allow that to balloon to a different level? Like, are we expecting, like, if we have this and this would cover people from shutoffs in the end, do you think we would have a large delinquency account after that, or is that like way beyond any scope that we have right now?
That's way beyond what we even know what's going to happen, because all we have is the bill analysis right now. And we know bills change all the time on the floor down there, so.
Yeah, this could turn into a let's make today clown day or something like that. So yeah, that is quite possible.
Yep.
All right, all set. Commissioner Coakley.
One final question just came to me. The $3 increase or $3 increase, does that go to the Bay City, go to the people on ours, or does that go to the state fund and gets distributed?
That's in the whole bill, so it'll be everybody, and that's per meter.
So the entire state?
Yes.
So quite actually, the extra money could not even be used towards Bay City?
Oh, you're saying because it would go to a pool?
Yeah.
I would hope that they would have a proration to do
don't
that, but
know.
I don't know that they're
That's why
going to
I'm
do
asking.
that. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to put so many dollars aside for each community. I have no idea.
So a lot of questions on that where
Absolutely.
quite possibly could just go to a fund and we could never see it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Personally, I like Commissioner Zanotti's idea of a self-directed fund. I know consumers, you can opt into a program to help those in need, and I don't know if our software program will allow for something like that, but we would know that the money stayed local. I don't know the cost of administration, but I think personally that we'd look at something where we know the money would stay here. And
I actually believe that we actually have a fee on our utility bill to help with delinquent accounts. Correct, George?
Is that electric or?
Yeah, for electric. So there is that already billed to every household.
Yeah,
Electric.
I think water's a big one, though. There isn't a set, even though Commissioner Kubit, water is a difficult one to get resources for still, I hear. So I like the initiative personally, but I do say there's a lot of questions and the concerns about adding every single bill to $3. I think residents would have some concerns about that personally. But yeah, go ahead, Commissioner Charlevoix.
Yes, I would just like to say that 8 years ago, the surcharge on our utilities was about $2. Now it's 20. It's $20 for water, $20 for sewer, $20 for electric. Before you use any services, you're paying $60. And I think that's a problem in the city, generally speaking. I don't know what we can do about it. It brings in a lot of revenue, but it costs a lot of money. Our utilities are actually dirt cheap. If you look what electricity costs, we might want to look into at some point here raising the rates on utilities and get rid of these service charges. For example, you might have a big corporate user. They could help get rid of these service charges. If they use a lot of water, they're probably paying only $20 too to hook up. But a little household with say a single mom or something, they're paying $20 each utility. The only one that isn't on is our garbage. I'm surprised there's not a $20 charge on that. It's a lot of money for you didn't even use anything yet. And like I say, about 8 years ago, and I got the bills to prove it. I'm a pack rat. I looked at the numbers, and, you know, it was a couple bucks each. Now it's 20. Probably just a matter of time before, hey, let's throw another $5 on. That's all I have. Thanks.
All right, thank you. I think for clarification, the actual commodity rate charge did go down in combination of the readiness. I know people don't like the readiness to serve, but actually, your rates would have went up way higher if you didn't have a fixed cost, because when people leave for the snowbirds, then you're paying for the snowbirds. So, Commissioner Doyle.
I don't want to harp on it too long, but I do want to echo the similar concern with disbursement of this bill. After Dana's email or memo, whatever you want to call it, I did revisit it and kind of like comb through it a little bit closer. And I think there is room for concern. There was maybe 15 to 20 bullet points that kind of loosely explained how the money may be dispersed. But for the citizens of Bay City, like, it doesn't do us any good if we have, 10% of utility bills that are going into shut off and they don't have access to the funds that's supposed to help them. So I will echo that concern as well, that disbursement, I think we need more clarification before we jump on supporting something, because it is extremely important, and we want to make sure that it's doing what's best for the people of Bay City.
Thank you. Commissioner Rundberg.
Do we know where this, is this still in committee, or do we know if this has been moved? It's not scheduled for a vote or anything right now?
No, it's not scheduled. I looked it up, I think it was Thursday or Friday of last week, and it's still in committee.
Okay. This might be something that we want to have some firmed up language on. It doesn't help that we still currently have a senator for the 35th district, but I would want to make sure that we have the what-if scenarios for the few municipalities that do have combined utilities. That's something I'd like to see addressed before it, so hopefully with the special election coming up, we can have that conversation. Maybe we bring this back around again once we have some firmed up language.
Okay, are you looking to pull it at this time then, or?
As it's currently written right now, and given the considerations that we have from the city manager and through the city manager with the staff, that's what I'd like to do at this motion. Yeah, motion to, what is it? Motion to defer.
Refer.
Refer.
You have to give direction to maybe to refer to wait till further clarification from the state?
Yes, that's,
Does
so
that sound
with
good?
clarification, yeah, refer till we, or defer till we get further clarification from the state.
Is there support? Commissioner Kubit?
Support.
Any objection? Okay, so we'll refer back to staff, waiting for further clarification from the state on that matter. Will the clerk please read the next item of business?
Item 2, Commissioner Tenney's resolution regarding giving preference for a tax abatement for grocery stores if they meet the qualifying criteria of Public Act 210 of 2005 as amended.
Is there a motion? Commissioner Tenney.
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Commissioner DeWitt.
Second.
Discussion? Commissioner Tenney?
Thank you to the chair. Just wanted to give some thank yous real quick. Thanks to Paul Kleinow, who collaborated with me on this. Thank you to city manager and city staff for weaving the applicable public act into it. As it was written when I submitted it, I thought we could give tax abatements for perpetuity. Turns out that's not the case. Anyway, this is actually something, even though I ran unopposed, I still had to get 50 to 75 people to sign and say they like me enough to get me on a ballot, right? So when I was circulating my nominating petition, this is one of 3 things I talked about. Number 1 priority was fixing side streets. We did something for that. Again, shout out to city staff for helping put that together. Number 2 was increasing access to quality nutrition. And number 3 was whatever the people wanted, right? When we talk about access to quality nutrition, there are a lot of folks in our community who don't have the privilege to jump in their car and drive to Kroger, drive to Meijer, all of which, most of the major grocers in the area are outside of Bay City proper, right? If you ride a Metro bus to the grocery store, First of all, that's a very lengthy ordeal to get through several stops and go out to the outskirts and go grocery shopping. Secondly, you are limited to taking whatever is in your hands onto the bus. And also, there are a number of people who walk or bicycle to, a Dollar General or a convenience store to get their nutrition. And I just think that Bay City deserves so much better. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Coakley?
Yeah, just, I actually have a page and a half of everything that is wrong or could go wrong with this, but I won't go through all of that. Having 35-plus years experience dealing with grocery managers, grocery owners, and employees, one thing I always find is they always really enjoy it when you tell them what to do and what to charge for things. It's a unique breed, and they're out there to make money, and if there was an opportunity to build in these areas, they would be doing it. And I hope, like I said, I hope they can do it. I really, really do. But I think a better avenue with this would be to actually talk to some owners and see what they wanted to do and what it would take for them to come in. With the Public Act 210-205, if I'm not mistaken, they have to refurbish a building and not build a new?
Correct, it's a rehab, so you couldn't build new. Yeah, it's just like an Oprah.
So you would have to, so in the area we're discussing, like the Columbus area and something like that, it would have to be an existing building that they would have to refurbish into that.
Correct.
I think off the top of my head, I can think of one or two places that maybe would do it. I'm not sure is what's going on in the one building. But, so we couldn't build a new in like an uptown area. We couldn't they just tore down the Jamie's area there, which is too small of a footprint. But we can't just build a new, it has to be a refurbish.
Correct.
Okay. And I'm for reusing buildings, I just don't know exactly what we have there. All that being said, like I said, I'm not going to get into all the details here out of respect to someone who asked me something. If we're going to do it, I'd like to do it right. I wish we would talk to the people who would come in here and do that. Affordable prices, I'm all for, but somebody who's building a smaller meat market is not getting the same prices as a big box chain without bringing it. There's a reason we don't see a lot of bread staples in some of these smaller stores is they can't get the delivery because they do not meet the minimum requirements to get that product. So there's a lot that needs to be thought into this to make it happen. As it reads, I mean, like I said, I hope somebody dives on it, but I just think it could be done better. Just my opinion. Like I said, we already have over on Woodside, we have a similar situation, and there's nobody building over there. So we would just have to, I guess, find out what the grocery owners want. But that's all. I'm not going to get into everything I wrote here. It's in depth, and like I said, out of respect, I'm just going to, like I said, I'm going to vote no on this, and hopefully we can decide to talk to some grocery store owners and see what it would take and get their opinion, because they're ultimately the ones investing.
Thank you. Commissioner Runberg.
Yeah, I think if the grocery store owners, as a current economic climate exists, saw the incentive to building one on the east side that we already would have, I don't see any downside in this. It just creates more opportunity, gives more incentive to have something be brought in. Like my colleague from the second ward had alluded to, they're in it to make money, and obviously they have to be profitable, but this can be another part of that equation in determining what is profitable for them and gives further incentive to actually build something over here, because as it mentions in the whereas clauses on here, we're going to have a lot of folks living over here, and if we can offer a carrot, I want to be able to offer one so we can have that option.
All right, Commissioner DeWitt.
Yeah, and I'm kind of following some of the other versions of this that have been done around the state. I know down in Detroit, which I know is not the same as Columbus Avenue, Riverfront area Detroit, Meyer did put up a store that mirrors the Public Act to influence it, and that has been a great success for that neighborhood, although it is a little bit more expensive to shop there at their smaller store than it is at the big stores out in the suburbs, which is a different problem and part of the systemic issues with city-level grocery and goods stores. But I do think just offering something will allow us to say we're giving an attempt, and hopefully we can tie this into a future with the zoning coming up, that we can possibly work on massaging this into what is allowed for commercial, so that it's easier to see for possible investors in the future. Because, we used to have Piggly Wiggly downtown on Center, way before I was born. But like those stores in the current climate don't exist because of the massive level of consolidation and kind of restructuring of grocerying into 12 brands control like half the shelving in America. Like, it's crazy. So although this may not have any direct impact today, we can at least put this in and hope that it starts something for us that hopefully can break a trend that is more consolidation and less options. So just giving an offer to kind of stop that. That's kind of what this is for. Thank you.
Commissioner Shalawa?
Yeah, I'd just like to say we offer incentives for other businesses. Why not food business? And these places, Commissioner Tenney's referring to, the buzzword is they're food deserts. They got convenience stores. You're not going to find lettuce and cucumbers, and you're going to find junk food. So I don't know why we couldn't. I support this. I don't know why we can't give an incentive for, if they do want to come in here, well, give them a tax abatement like we do everybody else. Thank you.
Commissioner Coakley.
Yeah, this isn't a tax abatement, it's completely something else. It's going off a specific law that it's a renovation of a building. I agree with the tax abatement, I would 100% agree with that. But once again, I am gonna just make the point, and grocery store owners do not build to be nice, they build to be profitable. And asking them, they would be there, they would build. If they could make money, they're gonna build. There's a reason most stores are on the outskirts. But anyways, it's parking and the footprint and everything else, neither here nor there. I can see the way this is going. Like I said, I just don't see why we don't talk to the people actually gonna possibly do this and what they would want. But all that being said, like I said, and I've talked to them, I've dealt with them. I mean, everybody out is making arguments on what they think. I have dealt with these guys for 35 years. I think I have a read on them.
All right, Commissioner Zanotti, and then Rundberg.
Yeah, it's kind of a great idea, but I guess I got a couple problems. Is if this is tied into a law that will rehab a building, then basically anybody that goes on Columbus and says that I'm going to take this old building and I'm going to fix it up and I want to use Public Act 210, they can do it, okay? I don't think we can discriminate whether the guy is going to sell food at low cost or whatever it will be. So I don't really know, I guess if this makes you feel good that we can pass it, but I don't know. It just seems like we're kind of mixing stuff up. And I know that this is a big deal in a lot of cities. I mean, we're not the only one that has problems with, the city proper and having grocery stores in it, okay? And then the only thing I would worry about is with the empty buildings we have throughout the city, that I don't want anybody to think that you have to sell your food below market value for the city to help you when we should be after trying to fill all these buildings that we have. So I just don't understand. And then tonight, if I vote for this, am I committing that I'm going to vote when it comes up to give them this act? I mean, I don't know that this resolution does one thing one way or another. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Rundberg.
Got a couple things. Reading Public Act 210 of 2005, it does specify in here that qualified retail food establishments are considered a qualified facility for purposes of granting the tax abatement. So it looks like this is geared, at least to a degree, to that type of facility. A couple other things I have is, one, why does everything have to be a profit motive? I understand we're a capitalist society, but why does that have to be the biggest concern for whether or not we do the right thing for our community? Second, I know with the recent fire over at Jackson Center, makes this even more of a pressing matter. I do have a question though, to Commissioner Zanotti's point, based on our reading of this and how zoning law works, would we be able to restrict this to using only a grocery store that meets the criteria outlined in both Public Act and in the resolution?
So it can be used for commercial properties as well, but they do call out specifically qualified retail food establishments, but it can be used for commercial too.
So would we be in any legal hot water if we passed this and we told people the only commercial rehabilitation they can do in that, using Public Act 210 is a food? Okay. But as it stands right now, since Public Act 210 is already passed, that's true currently
Right.
anyways.
Through the state, so yes.
Okay. The other thing I have is, and this is, I guess I can take this off and engage with a colleague in the second ward directly about it. So that's all I have.
All right, anything else? Commissioner Kubit?
I guess maybe this is a technical question for our city manager regarding the wording of the resolution. So my understanding generally about a resolution is any resolution is asking you to do something. So I guess specifically here, is it that you would be kind of making a note that if something's up for consideration, you're the one keeping track of, like, we're not updating a policy to give a preference. I guess I'd like some clarity on what is being asked of you if we pass this.
What I see is our economic development staff has another tool, right, in their toolbox for when people come to them for various projects and specifically for grocery stores. So it would be economic development staff that would be administering this. And they would obviously use it if they get questions about that area.
All set, Commissioner Coakley.
We would have to make ourselves a commercial rehabilitation district, correct, first? And then it has to get approved by the county?
Yeah.
And once it's approved by the county, it needs to be approved by the state?
Correct.
And so...
Yeah. It would be the same type of process when we do Oprahs and so forth, where we have to let the taxing jurisdictions around us know that get part of our taxes, which we do already.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Commissioner Tenney?
Just real quick, just to caveat what city manager is speaking to, like, city staff helped with rewording this so that it does work. It does fit criteria of the PA that's referenced. We're not getting ourselves in illegal hot water. I would say that my colleague from the 8th Ward hit the nail on the head. If you look at the U.S. Department of Agriculture's website, we live in a doggone food desert. That's not okay. Something is better than nothing. And I do believe in people over profit. However, we can have some kind of marriage of both if we just incentivize some folks. That's it. And we're also killing two birds with one stone, because guess what? Something that's maybe old, ugly, uninhabitable, not fit to run a business out of could get a makeover, rather, and we could have a nice looking space within our city as well. So it's not just about folks getting access to nutrition. Weaving this public act in it, as city staff was so gracious to do, helps with getting our buildings in better shape. And that's all I have. Please call the question.
All right, is there any objection? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Runberg.
Yes.
Charlebois.
Yes.
Morris.
Yes.
Kubit.
Yes.
Coakley.
No.
Doyle.
Yes.
Tenney.
Yes.
Zanotti.
Yes.
DeWitt.
Yes.
8 yes.
Motion passes. Would the clerk please read the next item of business?
Item 3, Commissioner Doyle's letter of support for the Great Lakes Dream Center for application to apply for the United Way Community Investment Grant for the Bay County Homeless Response Team project.
Is there a motion, Commissioner Doyle? Do you make a motion?
Move to approve?
Or is there a second? Commissioner Runberg?
Second.
Discussion? Commissioner Schalaba.
Yeah, I was looking this over, and I don't think the city commission should be backing anybody in particular. I like the Dream Center, I like what they've done, but there's other people applying for these funds, and the United Way has a board of directors, and they go through a list of who they think should be getting this money, and I don't think we should be meddling in that. Thank you.
All right. Commissioner Tenney, I think, had a...
Thank you to the chair. So just very quickly, shout out the Dream Center, who helps folks facing housing insecurity, food insecurity, does so much for our community, and just happens to be in the beautiful Fourth Ward of Bay City. Also, shout out to my colleague to the right of me for hitting the ground running, getting something cool on the floor. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner DeWitt.
I had someone reach out to me, and I just want to confirm all of our, this is pertinent, but not maybe not directly. Every commissioner has signed their conflict of interest forms, correct? All 9 of us are up to date?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else? Commissioner Coakley.
Basically, this is just a regular, a letter of recommendation, and it's up to the Dream Center to apply for the grants with said letter?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So I did check on United Way's website, and I found where this grant is, and there's a grant cycle that they have posted. It's under nonprofits if anybody wants to look at it, but they had, I have to scroll at the same time I'm doing this. So their process for this is, the RFP opened October 13th. There was an information session that was already held on October 27th. And then, let me see what was next year. November 21st, the proposals were due. So they were already due in November. So they can do some presentations in January, but there's no letters of support that is needed for this. So I'm not sure what they need it for because everything was due back in November. And they're not awarding until April 1st is when they're getting. And then July 1 is their cycle, starts then. And then to Commissioner Charleboy's point, the United Way Board, I was reading into this too, doesn't make the decision on this. It's made up of a community panel, so people that are actually in our community go through all of these and they score them, and that's who they award the funds to. So I'm just confused on the dates a little bit because it was all supposed to be in November.
So I was not made aware of any dates when it was requested for me. I'm not sure if they were hoping to include this in the presentation portion when they meet with that board.
Okay. Yeah, that could be so.
And Commissioner Runberg?
Yeah, I just also wanted to give a shout out to Dream Center. As we know, the 35-person overnight drop-in center by the Good Samaritan had been delayed a lot, and we got through some pretty cold months until it was finally able to open up the doors and welcome people into it. And Mr. Mayor, I know that you have contact over there, and they were very kind in opening their doors and their helping hands during those particularly dangerous nights. So if there is an organization that's deserving of a recommendation, they've come to our beck and call on more than one occasion, so I will be supporting this. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Cubitt?
I too have a lot of gratitude for the Dream Center for all the reasons already mentioned. I think they've done great. I guess I do have some technical questions, and I think it is important if this is intended to do a certain purpose, but then that deadline's already passed. I guess that's a concern. The second question I have is, I guess, does the city manager have any concerns about us essentially writing a letter of recommendation to the point of this is a community grant, there's lots of people applying for it. Is there anything inappropriate generally about this coming before us? And then I guess the second question is more of a technical aspect because the draft that's in the packet you know, it says draft, it says January 5th. I think there are some typos in it. You know, if we were to pass this right now, would we have to, technically speaking, send them what's in the packet? And that would be awkward.
We would have to, because this wording is what would be approved tonight. Yes. And to answer your earlier question, we do letters of support as a commission, as a full commission. We've done them in the past.
So, Commissioner Doyle, you want to maybe speak to a couple of points?
So I did actually provide a updated version to Ms. Lucero with the updated date, and there was like 2 typos in there that I did correct. I also altered a little bit of the wording on the last paragraph that I got some feedback on. So I apologize if that was not submitted properly.
Go ahead.
I haven't read the whole thing yet because obviously it's a little long to read the whole thing right now, but I do appreciate that you did remove the last paragraph, the wording in there about our public safety department. I will be honest, it was bothersome to myself just because our police department does help homeless people connect with the services that they need. I think you all would be shocked at what they do out of their own pocket. A lot of them buy things for homeless or get them to places where they need to be on their own funds. So, and I know you and I talked about it ahead of time, so I do appreciate that those words were taken out.
So I do want to address that because, again, based on feedback, that was not my intention, that they were not meeting a job requirement, but more so that it's outside of the things that the Dream Center is doing is outside of police responsibility and also outside of their bandwidth to meet every single need that they encounter on the street.
Commissioner Runberg.
Thank you. This is a small thing, but we may need to amend the letter to correct the mayor's spelling of his name because there is a scammer out there that goes by Christopher Gerard with that specific spelling that's tried to get me to get gift cards and things like that.
I'm not asking for gift cards.
So if we could at least get that updated just for good measure.
Yeah. Yeah, great. Thank you. Good catch. It's Girard. I wish we'd know if we had known on the requirement or not. In general, having a letter of support is really not, in my opinion. I get asked all the time to ask for personal letters of support for different functionalities, and I don't think it's a bad thing. Can it be cumbersome as the body to continually approve these kind of requests? I think so. It typically, if people are asking for a nonprofit, has to get, if they are looking for a liquor control permit, they have to have the body approve that they're a nonprofit organization.
For a raffle.
Or for raffle license. So we have to do it as far as that. But I don't know. I guess if you want to vote on the measure, it's up for any more discussion about it. Commissioner DeWitt?
Before we officially call it, we want to make sure that the version that we would vote on would be the one that was just handed to us with the additional adjustment of changing the first E, or the E in Gerard to I.
Yes, I will make that adjustment.
I want to confirm with the clerk that we have that protocol set before we throw that in sideways.
There was a motion to amend to the recently handed out version with the correction to Gerard's name.
Okay. Is there, so that's to amend what has been put forward. Is there support of that? All right, Commissioner Coakley.
Support.
All right, any other discussion? Oh, we have one question.
Just one question for logistics. Do you want us to circulate it to get all the signatures after that's fixed, or are you going to do that? I just don't want to step on your toes, but we can do it.
Whatever method is the cleanest, I'm fine with.
Perfect, okay. We might be reaching out to you for electronic signatures, and we can just do it that way. All right.
Perfect. Commissioner Kubit?
Yeah, just a point of order for the benefit of those in the chamber and that are listening. There were some minor changes. Do we have to read it out loud, or just would we're not trying to hide from anybody what the changes are, and we could read it, but I just want to make sure that we're doing it procedurally the way that we need to, and we're not pulling a fast one on any citizens or anything.
As long as the clerk has the printed version, she's good. Yeah. Okay. Any other? Okay. Will the clerk please call the roll? Motion to adopt.
We're first going to vote on the amendment to use the new letter. And we're going to start with Commissioner Charleboy.
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Kubit?
Yes.
Coakley?
Yes.
Doyle?
Yes?
Tenney?
Yes.
Zanotti?
Yes?
DeWitt?
Yes.
Runberg?
Yes.
9 yes to amend.
All right. And now the next on the motion to approve as amended.
Correct. Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Kubit?
Yes.
Coakley?
Yes.
Doyle?
Yes?
Tenney?
Yes.
Zanotti?
Yes?
DeWitt?
Yes.
Runberg?
Yes.
Charleboy?
No.
All right, motion's been approved as amended. Okay, will the clerk please read the next item on the agenda?
Item 4, Commissioner Coakley's resolution regarding public safety.
Is there a motion? Commissioner Coakley,
Motion to approve.
is there support? Commissioner Runberg,
Second.
discussion? Commissioner DeWitt?
My discussion is going to be more about the process of us doing all 4 of these tonight, and that I want to, I appreciate the commission working together to get things to the agenda that are things that they may be somewhat personal to them, but also can benefit the community. I understand that previously, when I was on the other side of the floor, very few things came up this way, and this is how I prefer to see things come up so we can have discussion and work through things. So things like this that are coming up that we're getting changed and we're working on making improvements to our community for outside of a standard annual timeline. I really appreciate all you guys working on these. So that's my discussion for this right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Coakley?
With everything going on, all human life is priceless, and once it's gone, there's no second chances. Everyone involved must do everything possible to de-escalate a situation whenever possible. This is essential for the safety of both Bay City citizens and its law enforcement. This is just a call out to, let's try to be as safe as possible and avoid violence when we can.
All right, Commissioner Runberg.
Yeah, I just had a question, a clarification in the second, I guess it would be the first, be it further resolved paragraph, that the city commission respectfully calls upon federal authorities to review recent enforcement operations. Are we asking for them to review federal enforcement operations, or are we asking them for like an oversight review of operations with our Department of Public Safety?
To review what they're doing
in general?
Just, yeah, I mean, life is too precious, and that's...
On the federal level.
Correct.
Yep, Commissioner Kubit.
I guess, who specifically in the federal government are we asking our city manager to send this resolution to if we pass it? In the last part, it says appropriate federal officials and oversight bodies. I mean, that could be very broad, and I don't know, even if we identify specifically who this should be sent to, one, if they're ever going to read it, and 2, what action they might take upon reading it. you know, it's a statement, but if the goal of the statement is somebody in the federal, it's going to catch the attention of somebody in the federal government to do something, I don't really know who we would send it to and like the best way of accomplishing what our goal is. And so I guess I'm curious as to our city manager's, like what she would do if we passed this tonight and what questions she would have about it.
I guess the question's to you. What questions you have specific?
I have no idea who you want me to send it to. It's your resolution, so you need to tell me who you want it to go to.
Okay, I guess that's something that we can table right now, and I can get specifics on it.
Okay, so you're asking to,
Yeah, move to table it and clear it up a little bit at the end.
okay. Is there, or refer to staff for clarification?
Refer to staff.
All right, is there an objection to refer this? No? Okay, seeing no objection, it'll be referred to staff. Is there any other items on tonight's agenda?
That is it.
Seeing none, we are adjourned.